Okay, we're going to get started here in just a moment. We are almost right at noon. All right, we're going to get started. Hi, my name is Michelle, and I am with the InView team, and I want to welcome you today for the live demo of setting up your categories for your event and organizing them. So the key idea is to organize your images in separate categories to help your client search for their images easily. And there's two ways to do that. And one is you can set that up automatically, or you can do that manually. And I'm going to show you how to do both. And that way, if you have an account, you can follow along and do this for each event, as well as set it up as a preset. So that's really good. All right. So if you will just send a chat through, make sure that I'm sharing my screen okay. That will be helpful. So I'm going to stop sharing my camera. As you follow along, please drop some questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer those. And then at the end, we can do a little Q&A if needed. All right. So let me share my screen so we can get started. Like I said, if you do have an account, please follow along. And I'll try to answer those questions. So first, we're going to talk about how to manually create and populate categories. So we're going to go to the Images tab in an event. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Share. All right. So under an event in your dashboard, under Images, you will see all your thumbnail images. And then you will see the client gallery and the in-person sales session right here between the settings, but also the thumbnails. And to create a category manually within your IPS or a client gallery, all you have to do is simply click the plus sign right here, enter the name, and if you would like, you can also password protect each category. So there are some good use cases for that. One would be if you are doing a school or sports event and you need each individual to have their own password just for protection. Or if you are in doing a wedding session and you want to provide the getting ready images to be only available for the bride and the groom to view, you would then put a password for that. But for now, we won't password protect those. We're just going to hit save. And if you see here, it has created an outdoors category right here. So you can add multiples by doing that, and you can also modify them. So right now it has all images in uncategorized. So how you put the images in there manually, you want to go to your main folder of images, and then we're going to pull all the images that are outdoors. And all you do is highlight them by clicking on the images, or you can select all and you just drag into that category. And now it'll show I have 22 images out of the 29 images that are uncategorized. So then you can simply add an additional category. So we could just say red sofa, just to organize those images so you can see how that works. All right. So for example, for a senior, you can organize the images by outfit or whether it's indoor, just to help them, go through and see just those specifics. And some may do it by all the headshots, all the full body, all of the sports, so those are some use cases. So now I can see I have 13 that are uncategorized. So I can simply add another one and say pink sofa. And then we can add all of those images into that category. All right, and I'll add another one and just say outfit. And I would say mostly the categories are used for weddings or, high volume events. Some people will use it for horse shows. So they could simply create different categories for a horse show. So now that I have all of those images in here, I can hide the all images tab if I would like. So all they see is the title of each category. Or you can have it on. So if they want to filter through and look at all the images at one time in their client gallery, they can do that, or pick and choose a specific category if they'd like. But if you want that off, then you just simply toggle that and it will be hidden for you. All right. And we do have the mirror category. So if you wanted to mirror exactly what you have there, you have that option. You can do that. Okay. So there are a lot of questions about subcategories. So if you wanted to create a subcategory, you can simply create your first category manually. Then you can create a subcategory by just creating another category. So let's just say hair or headshot. Okay. So when you do that, you can just click on the folder of categories and put that in the category. So then it creates a subcategory. So when I see the plus sign, that means that there is a subcategory within a category. So you just click on it. Now I can go straight to that. But of course, we need to put images in there. So I'll show you that in the pre-categorized process. So if you have a large event, and let's just say, for example, you have a high school or a wedding, you could do getting ready, or you can do the Panther High School. Okay, so you have that. And then under this would be your main category. So then let's just say that you are doing their sporting event. You could say, okay, girls basketball. Okay. And then within the girls basketball, you can create an event, Panthers versus Wildcats. Or you could put the game date. So then you have that. So now you can put that in the girls basketball category, because you may have the boys basketball, you might have tennis, you might have golf. So you have that opportunity to create subcategories and even categories within the subcategories. So I can create another one just by saying tournament. I could spell. Okay, so then you could put that within that game. So there you're creating categories, subcategories, and then your additional categories. So you can you'll see there's a plus sign, then another plus sign, and then it'll take you to that category. It's just a way to keep those organized. And if you have multiple people within the gallery, they can go in and search specifically for an outfit, for a pose, or for a specific game, or a specific time within the wedding ceremony, or the wedding day, I should say. Okay, so there I have showed you how to create categories manually. And that would be the same with the in-person sales session. So if you choose to use categories for your IPS session just to help with organization in the sale, you know, it isn't as common to use categories in an IPS session, but if you do, it would be the same way. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to double check, make sure there's no questions. Does anybody have any questions in regards to setting up your categories manually? Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on and I'm going to show you how to create the categories automatically and how that populates. Okay, so I'm going to do that really quick though. Before you move over to that, I'm going to show you what the categories looks like from a client's view. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to share this event. I'm going to pop it in here in the browser and view the photos. And so now you should see the category setup. I'm going to hit view photos. Now up at the top, you'll see all of those categories. So if I click on the pink sofa, it's going to take me to just those images, just the red. And then if I go into the Panther versus the Wildcats with images in there, then it would give me another category, just like here. So I would click on that and it would take me to an additional folder of images. So that's how that view looks to your client, which is kind of nice because then you can just go directly to those outfits and say, okay, I like, you know, I can compare these two, I can compare these two, or I want to buy this one or build a wall collection. So that's how that works. All right, so I am going to move on and take you through setting up categories automatically. All right, and so let me make sure that I'm sharing my desktop completely here. That way you can see that. All right, so I'm going to move this aside. So if you have a folder structure on your desktop or in Lightroom, you would want to categorize those images prior. So if you have a main folder, your client's name, or the event name, you can open it up and within that folder, you have multiple folders. So you have for a wedding getting ready, or maybe it's again, you know, a senior and you want to organize it by outfits or by backgrounds. So you would do that and you would organize it with images in there already. Okay. So once that is organized just how you want it to appear when you upload your images, it will populate those for you automatically. Okay. So I am going to go back to an event here. I'm going to create a new event. So bear with me, just so you can see how those load up. So when you create an event, I'm going to give it a name. Okay. Let's just do categories. Okay, all right. Okay, so here when you select upload, you can either choose original or the high. So I'm just going to do the original resolution. So all I have to do is take this folder right here and just drag it and drop it. And it's going to ask me, do I want this to go into an in-person sales category or client gallery? Right now I'm creating a client gallery. So I'm going to begin the upload, and it may just take a moment because it's going to prepare. And then I should be able to move on. So down here at the bottom, it shows that it's uploading. So I'm going to go to images. And if you look here, it's already organized those in categories for me. So if you ever want to take out a category, you can, and make it its own and not a sub, you can do that by just lifting it up, and you'll see the pink line. Just drop it, and it's now taking it out of a subcategory. Okay, so now you have all of those already set up and you are good to go. And if you need to adjust, you have that option. So it looks like, okay, well, I have X amount uploaded, but there's 9 that are not in a category. So I can then take them and move them into a category. Okay, and again, the same, then you can go and hide and turn off the all images or have it show. Okay, and save. And you're all good. Or you can move those and put those in as a category. So the other option, if you don't want them already subcategorized, then you would just have the 3 folders loose on your desktop, and you would just select all 3 folders and drag them over. That makes sense. Or you could just sit there and go like this, and then drag and pull those over, and then they would be their own category. So those are the different options you have for the automatic upload of categories. So does anybody have any questions on how that works as far as uploading automatically and pre-categorized? I know if you use Lightroom, that is an option. So you can create those within Lightroom. And when you go and publish to InView, it will upload those pre-categorized for you as well. But that is just a really good way to keep things organized. If you're doing an IPS session, or if you are sending this to a client or to a school or to a sporting event that you've created, and there's going to be multiple people in this event and multiple people viewing the event. It's just a way for them to easily find their images. And also, if you have, let's just say you're doing a sporting event and you have multiple kids playing in multiple games, then you have that opportunity. So your client can go in and view from each category and make a purchase. Let's just say they can add that to the cart, continue shopping. They can go to a separate category. Let's see, select another item. So if they have multiple events that their child is in, or they are in multiple kids in the same school or sporting event, that way they can buy from each category and it be different people instead of having a separate separate gallery for each event that's taking place. And then they can purchase that all at once. All right. Okay. Any questions? No questions. Okay. All right. Well, let me make sure that we covered everything that we said we were going to talk about today. And it looks like we have, and I'm just going to confirm that. Does anybody have any questions? No questions. Okay. So we talked about how to manually populate and create categories, automatically create and populate categories, how to create and add subcategories, and also how to password protect your galleries, and how to add images to your categories. So that was one thing that I touched on, but I wasn't very clear that there is another option. So I want to make sure that you know that. So if you have these preset, and maybe the event hasn't happened, so maybe you have it planned out your whole entire school season of sporting events. Maybe you're in doing a sporting event for a school and you have it all set up and ready to go, but those images are not there yet because the event hasn't happened. Or maybe the wedding hasn't happened yet, but you want to have it nice and ready to go because a lot of times they will pre-post those. You can simply just add images to a specific category and edit that right here. So you can add the images and upload straight from the category. Okay, and it will still go into all images, but you have that option. It looks like we do have a question. Kelly, hi Kelly. Okay. Good. I'm so glad that was helpful. It does help, and it's interesting too. We've had a lot of questions in regards to categories lately. And so we have a lot of new InView users, and I do, appreciate that, or maybe they're getting new, events and jobs for the photography that is different than you normally use it. And you need some ideas to help your clients and help yourself. So thank you for joining. So we also talked about the categories and where they are for the IPS session. In an IPS session, if you have created, let me go back, I'm going to open it up in a IPS session here so I can show you where you would find the categories in an IPS session, which I think is really important for you to know. So I'm going to go to images and make sure that I have. I'm going to do, just for an example, let's pull a couple and put that in there so you can see where those are located. So notice I have some images that I'm moving that exist in other categories. Do I want to remove them or keep them? And in this case, I want them to show up in both categories. So I'm going to say keep. All right. And now I'm going to go into the in-person sales session. All right. And I am going to do single screen just so that we can move faster on where those are located. Okay, so these are going to be in the culling view under all images. So you will see the categories right here. Okay, does that make sense? Because a lot of times photographers doing in-person sales will utilize the favorites folders more so than categories. But this is, again, helps with culling. So if you want to stay organized and that works best in your workflow, then that's an option. But just wanted to make sure that you saw where to find that. Okay. All right, so it looks like we've covered everything. One thing I do want to touch base with is where you can find additional information if you want to do this step-by-step on your own. If you see this little help button anywhere, I'm going to go to culling, for example. I'm going to click on the help. I can go in and I can type in categories, and it will pull up everything in regards to categories in the InView platform as a tool. So you can go in and click this up and pop it out or read it here if you're on the fly and you want to stay on this page and do it along with it, you can. But just so you know that those are available for you. All right, so I am going to go back here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my camera so I can say goodbye to everybody. Give me just a moment. Hi, Dory. Okay, all right, let me turn that on. Sometimes it pops off when I don't share anymore. There I am. Hey, guys. Okay. All right. Just wanted to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. Please tell me if there's something else that you guys want to hear about, what you need to learn. Maybe there's some tools that you want to learn more about in InView. Please put that in the Facebook chat. It's so good to see your face.
Thank you. I'm not camera ready, but I figured you could handle it.
I think you're muted. Can't hear you.
Oh, you know,
There you are. I got to see Kelly the other night. It was so nice, but I'm so happy to see you guys.
I'm not camera ready, so I'm going to stay off the camera. You're brave, Dory. You look great.
Oh my gosh.
no.
I have no makeup on and my hair's a mess, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to leave that off today.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, this is, and I wanted to divide them according to date so that they weren't just all in one big gallery. So this is very helpful.
Yeah. And something else that might be very helpful for you too, Dory, is using the collections too. So they kind of go hand in hand. It depends on if you're sending people to your website or not.
Okay.
If you are, the collections would be a great fit.
Okay.
But if you are just using the categories, my goodness, it's amazing how beneficial it is to those that are doing multiple events for the same person. Even maybe it's a baby session, and they're coming in every so often throughout their first year of their life. You have that opportunity to organize those for them. So that way, when they come in and they want to order a book, they have all the images right there and you don't have to go back and forth between, each session. Hey, girl.
Kelly.
I took my hair down. I thought, well, at least my hair.
No, and she stopped recording, so we're safe.
Yes, I did.
But yeah, that's super helpful. And I never even thought about doing it that way, Dory, with families. That's a really great idea.
I'm going through a lot of my old sessions. My studio basically crashed and burned during COVID, and then it was extended because of some personal circumstances. And so I'm really starting over, and I'm trying to reconnect with old clients. And I have clients in the past who've done 3 or 4 sessions. And I was just loading them all up into a main gallery. I'm like, this is just, I need a way to separate them. So came at the perfect time.
Yeah. Well, it came at the perfect time for me because I just did a wedding, which I don't normally do. And it went really well, by the way, Michelle.
Yay!
Yeah. But I thought, oh, this will be perfect because now I can do the getting ready shots, the ceremony shots, the formals, and the reception all separately. Yeah. So that'll be really nice.
It's overwhelming when you're sending out a gallery of like a wedding gallery of hundreds of images with no organization whatsoever.
Oh my gosh. It is a mess. But what I've seen benefit wise is the password protection in a wedding, because you want everybody to see them, but maybe not the personal getting ready, or maybe those personal moments they have right before the ceremony when they first see each other. Or potentially there's some kiddos from a school that the parents are like, I don't want my kids' images to be exposed,
well, and that's a good, I do a preschool once a year. I only do one. And there's very few, there's like 100 kids in the whole school total. But last year I used InView for the first time. I used InView for my galleries, and it worked really well because I put each class had their own gallery. But somebody said, well, why don't you use categories? And it didn't occur to me until I saw this, how that could work, because you could have a gallery, but within that you could have a category for each child.
Yep.
Because there's only like 12 kids in each class. So I'm gonna investigate this for that. That could be really cool too.
Yeah, that's really nice, because there could be a parent that has multiple kiddos in the same school.
And I did have some parents say, I don't want them, they were either adopted or they were a foster kid or something, and they're like, they can't. So I had to make a separate gallery for them, completely devoid of the other. So anyway, this is good.
That would definitely help, but yeah, Dory, that's a cool way of using that. I mean, I wonder how many other people are thinking they might do the same. What's up, Carl?
Hey, Carl.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. I'm glad you jumped on.
Yeah, I've been like just doing like a lot of stuff because we leave back to Arizona on Friday. So we leave Missouri and go back
Oh
to
my
Arizona.
gosh. So when will you be back to Missouri?
It's been kind of weird because I use Bark to get leads, and so I have Arizona right now and Missouri like side by side on my deal. For every one lead I get from Arizona, I get 5 from Missouri. I came here on vacation. I've done like 1 wedding. I've done 2 headshots. I've done like 4 high school seniors.
Wow.
I love that. What other job can you have where you can travel and actually make money at the same time?
Right?
I love
Amen.
it.
My daughter comes up from Savannah and she and her husband, he does construction and remodeling and she does weddings. They can both come to Kansas City and they can stay for like a month because they can both get work here and then go back to Savannah. So
Yeah.
That's so true.
I've been away from home for like 5.5 weeks, so I get it.
oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be nice to go home for a bit though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll miss the whole winery tour though. Like it's crazy. From my girlfriend's house, if you look out the window that way, there's like 2 wineries around the corner.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Huh. That'd be hard to miss.
That would be.
Tell me
Well-
about it. It's been great.
Well, I know you're just joining. We went over all of the categories, but there will be a replay of it. And I know that you and I had gone through it, briefly when we had spoken a week or 2
Did I
ago.
miss
So,
you guys? I thought it was 12 o'clock. Oh my gosh, yeah, I had the wrong time. My brain's fried. I'm sorry.
well, guess what? I mean, you would be on time for sure if it had been at 1.
Yeah, right.
Early bird, but it's recorded, that portion. So, and you can always call me or our team and we can go through that. But the girls were just talking about kind of some ideas of how they can utilize the categories with different sessions that they're doing. Dory mentioned it for families and Kelly just did a wedding. So she's going to organize the wedding images in the categories. So I'll make
Yeah,
sure that.
I use it for a tractor pull. I had like the garden category in one, and I had the farm in the other. So
There you go. That's perfect. It's
I would have never known that there were categories at a tractor pull. So I just
Right?
learned something.
I know this city kid didn't know that either, and I learned from hanging out with all like my girlfriend's family owns like one of the biggest farms around here. So
that's so cool.
yeah, they thought it'd be funny to take me out there and say, hey, take some photos. And I took one. It looked like almost like a Norman Rockwell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
So fun.
I'll send it over to you. You'll get a kick out of it. But it's like, yeah, one guy's drinking a beer, one kid's like, on the tractor, like on the scale, and his dad's like trying to figure out what's going on. It's pretty cool.
That's great. That's great.
Interesting.
Michelle, how long does it usually take you guys to get the replays up?
Usually, sometimes I can get them up there the same day. Some days it's about 24 hours. So
Okay, I'm not rushing you. I'm just asking just so I
Sure.
know, because I did miss the beginning part and
okay.
I want to go back and take a look at it.
Yeah. So, usually by this time next or tomorrow, it's up, whether it's today or first thing in the morning. So I'll
Okay.
try to get that up
That's
there
awesome.
today.
Well, thank you for doing that. We appreciate
Yes,
it.
you bet. Thank you guys for joining me. I know it always helps to get to see at least 1 or 2 more people than one on the phone, right? So the reach is broader and that way you can pick and choose what you want to learn about that day. So if you have any ideas, let me know and I'll plug that into the schedule. So
All right.
Absolutely, sounds great.
Thank you. Well, tell David hi for me.
I
and
will.
talk with you soon.
Yes, take care.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Have a
Have a
great
great day,
day.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.